So hello everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel Java Guru Ravi, and I Ravi Kansa welcome you in this new video. So let's get started. So hello everybody, today we are going to start with this video in which we are going to cover the method overriding. So basically what is the overriding? First of all, whenever you perform the inheritance, so definitely in the inheritance you inherit everything except two things. What are the two things which are not inherited? The first one is private members are never inherited, and the second one is constructors are never inherited. So rest everything gets inherited when you perform the inheritance from some class or interface. So when you inherit some code, when you inherit some class, so basically we perform the inheritance because of two reasons. First one is code reusability. So code reusability means when you inherit some class, the reason may be because there is some important code, some useful code that you want to get in your own class. So in that case we will be performing inheritance because of code reusability. I don't want to define the same function again and again, but I want to use the already existing function or maybe method from the parent class. So that is one reason. Second reason of inheritance can be is a relationship. So when you are performing some inheritance, so inheritance will create the is a relationship. Is a relationship means child is a specialized version of parent. So child is a specialized version of parent. So like you inherit car from the vehicle class. So car is a vehicle. If you are inheriting a bike from a car, so bike is a car. It is illegal. It is illogical inheritance. So bike cannot inherit the car because bike is a car. You can say ki sir there is some function which is I want to use in my bike class like accelerate. Accelerate function can be there in your car class, but you want to use the same function as it is in your class bike, but you will not perform the inheritance in this case. Although it is giving you the code reusability, but you are not supposed to perform this inheritance because this inheritance will give you the relationship bike is a car, which is illogical, right? So that's why we are performing the inheritance in two reasons. One is code reusability. At the same time you have to ensure that the is relationship is logical. So there might be a situation I am having some class, I inherited some code from the parent class, some functions or methods from the parent class. Some functions, some methods are okay for me, and there may be some function or method in which I want to make certain changes. I may not be happy with the code which is given by the parent. I want to change that code. So this process is called as method overriding. So simple definition of method overriding is redefining the parent class method in the child class. Redefining the parent class method in the child class with the same name and same signature. So in case of overloading, you might have seen that in case of overloading, what is the definition? Multiple methods, or you can say more than one method with the same name, same signature, same name but different signature. Overloading is same name, different signature, but overriding is same name, same signature. What is the second difference between the overloading and overriding? The second difference is that overriding can only be done in the inherited classes. Overriding is possible only in the inherited classes, means subclasses. But overloading can be done in the same class as well as in the inherited classes. So overloading is possible in the same class as well as in the inherited classes, but overriding is possible only in the inherited classes. So let us understand, there are so many confusions, there are so many important interview questions. So if you go with the basic level of overriding, so overriding simply says that redefine the parent class method in the child class with the same name, same signature. But if you focus here, there are many things. To be very precise, there are three things that you can change during the overriding. So these are very important concepts. So let us understand these concepts here. So in this example, I have created a class parent, and in this class parent I am providing one method int add with two parameters of int type int a and int b. So this is one method add. Again I am redefining one more add method, but here we are having three parameters int a, int b, int c. So this is the example of overloading or overriding. This is overloading. Overloading says same name but different signature. Signature change means either change the number of parameters or change the type of parameters. So here I am changing number of parameters. You can see that in the first method there are two integer type of parameters, whereas in the second method you have three integer type of parameters. So it means this is overloading. It cannot be overriding, because first thing that overriding cannot happen in the same class. So this is your overloading. This is valid overloading. Is it going to make any impact if I am changing the return type? Return type does not matter, because the simple definition is change the signature. Same name, different signature, and signature includes only the name and parameter. Access modifier, other modifiers and the return type doesn't get included during the consideration of overloading, right? So this is overloaded, that's okay. This is your class parent. Now I have created a class child. So now if you see here, class child is inheriting the class parent, means child is inheriting this class parent. So as soon as you inherit, these two methods are getting inherited here. Both the methods 1 and 2 are inherited in the class child. Now here, if you see, I am redefining this add method. So if you see here, which add method I am redefining means which add method I am overriding. This type of annotation you might have seen. This is @ override. It simply says that following method is the overriding of some existing method of parent class. So can you tell me here which method we are overriding here? So the simple answer is the method signature must be same during the overriding. So let us see which method signature it is. Add with two integer parameter. So here which one is add with two integer parameter? The first one. It means I am overriding the first add method of the class parent. And for overriding, first of all, the basic step is same name, same signature. During the overriding, you cannot change the signature, right? So same name, same signature. Again, I am highlighting this is your name and signature. This is your name and signature. So I am keeping the same name and same signature. It means I am overriding this method in the child class. Now the question is, sir, you are writing here P and Q, but here it is A and B. Is it going to make any difference? No. Signature means the type of parameter and the number of parameters. Again, I am repeating this frequently because this is important. Sometimes you get confused. Sir, here it is written A and B, and here you are writing P and Q. It means you are changing the signature. Signature is getting changed only when either you change the type of parameter or the number of parameter, right? So it is same name, same signature. This is overriding. So this is the basic concept of overriding. I am redefining the parent class method in the child class with the same name and same signature. Now during the overriding we can change three things, and these three things are very important. Otherwise, normally in the basic level we say that during the overriding we cannot change anything except the body of the method. But there are three things. So let us understand those three things here. So what is the first thing that you can change is, the first thing is called as access modifier. During the overriding we can change the access modifier of a method. And there is also some condition. So when you override a method, simply you can understand in this way that when you override, when you inherit some parent class, in the child class, so what the parent class is expecting, parent class is expecting that you should improve my method. Overriding means you should improve my method rather than making it worse, right? So during the overriding, the expectation is that you should improve its features. So the first thing is, let's say you are having a method here in the parent class. Let's say I am saying that okay, my method is void test. So during the overriding, you can enhance the accessibility level. During the overriding, you can change the access modifier, but it should be enhancing. It should not be restricting, right? What I mean to say is, let's say I am inheriting this parent class and I am overriding this test method. So what I am going to write here is, let's say I am writing here void test. Void test. I am writing as it is. So what is the access modifier here? No access modifier, it means accessibility level is within the package. And here also I am keeping it as default, it means no access modifier, it means its accessibility level is same. So I am not restricting, I am not enhancing the access modifier, so that is not a problem. I was having the same accessibility level in the parent class and same I am retaining the accessibility level, so there is no problem. But can I write here private? Can I write here a private access modifier during the overriding? So the answer is no. You cannot reduce the accessibility level. Earlier this method was accessible within the package, now you are making it accessible within the class, which is not allowed. It will give you an compilation error that is saying trying to assign weaker access privileges. When you get this kind of error, trying to assign weaker access privileges, it means that you are trying to reduce the accessibility level of a parent class method. So this is not allowed. You cannot write here private. So can I write here public? Can we write here public? So the answer is yes. It was earlier accessible within the package. Now I am enhancing its accessibility level to public level. So that is not a problem, because parent class will say okay, you are improving the facilities provided by the method. It means it is happily accepted. So during the overriding, first concept is either you can retain the same accessibility level or you can enhance the accessibility level, but you cannot reduce it, right? Second thing that you can change is return type. So again in the interviews, the interviewer can ask you, can you change the return type during the overriding? So normally we cannot change the return type, but there is a concept called as covariant return type. Covariant return type. What is the covariant return type? I'll explain with this example. So let's say there is a method which is returning some A type of object. I am just taking a random example. So the return type of this test method is A type, right? So what is A? A is some, let's say, class. Let's say there is a class A. So when any method is returning some class type object or interface type of object, so in that case we can change the return type, right? So let us understand, this test method is returning A type of object. Here you will be returning some return statement will be written accordingly. I am not concentrating on that. So during the overriding, now I am going to override this test method in this child class. So can I write here B, where B is also a class, right? So covariant return type says that if a method is returning some class type, so during the overriding you can change the return type. This is called as covariant. So what can be the B? Here we can use any class B which is a subclass of A, right? means if it is a normal class B, so this will be a compilation error. Why? Because this test method is returning A type of object, but this test method is returning B type. So, but B is not having any relation with A. A is a separate class, B is a separate class. So, this is a compilation error. But if I write here B is a subclass of A, B extends A. B extends A. Now, B is a subclass of A. So, is it allowed now? Now, it is allowed. So, you can see here, I am overriding this test method of the parent class in the child class, and I am also changing the return type. So this change is allowed only when it is a subclass of A type. So this kind of change in the overriding is allowed, and this is called as covariant return type. Right? So the concept is, during the overriding, if your method is returning some class type, so during the overriding you can return its child type of object also. Right? So this is your second change. Third change can be there. Third change is related to the exception list throws clause. So let us understand that one also. Let's say there is a method void test, and here I am saying that this method is throws, let's say, IO exception. Right? So suppose in a parent class you have some method which is having some throws clause written over there. In the exception handling you might be studying this thing, throws clause. So with the method header you will find the throws clause. So if the parent class method is having some exception listed over there with the throws clause, so what are the rules for overriding? So the rule says that when you are having some method with the throws clause, so during the overriding, two options are available with you. The first one says that you can remove the throws clause. You can remove the throws clause. Second rule says that okay, during the overriding you can throw the child type of exception. Means here you are throwing IO type of exception. During the overriding I can write some other exception class instead of IO exception, which is a subtype, child type exception. I will explain with the example. But let's say your method is throwing some exception, you cannot introduce a new exception in your overridden method, because again the same concept, during the overriding the parent class is expecting that you are enhancing the facilities provided by the method. It means if there is one problem with the method, now in the overriding you are saying two more problems. So that is not enhancing. You cannot introduce new problems. If there is a larger problem, parent type of problem is there, during the overriding you can say ki now we are having only limited problem, child type of problem, that is okay. Or the parent type is saying it's so many, this problem is there, in the child type you are saying okay, no problem now, means you are enhancing the method of parent class in the child class. So let us understand. Now this test method is there which is listing here throws IO exception. So can I write here void test without any exception? I am overriding this method, so can I write something like this, void test without any exception, without any throws clause? Yes. During the overriding I am improving the method. I am saying okay, in the parent type there was some exception, but now child has improved that method and now there is no exception. So this is possible. During the overriding you can remove the exception. Second thing, I can say okay, exceptions are not completely removed, but can I write here throws file not found exception? I am writing here throws file not found exception. It means parent method was saying that this method is throwing IO exception, but child method is during the overriding I am saying it is throwing file not found exception. So you can say ki sir earlier there was some other exception, now you are introducing a new exception, so this is not correct. Why? Because file not found exception is a subclass of IO exception. So it means earlier there was a parent type of exception, now during the overriding I said now only child type of exception is possible. It means this is enhancing the method, so this is allowed. This is allowed because this throws clause is listing some child type of exception, right? But can I write here throws, let's say I said SQL exception, throws SQL exception. So this is not allowed. Throws SQL exception I cannot write because the parent type was throwing IO exception. I am changing the throws clause here. I am changing the exception list. So changing the exception list is only possible when it is a child of that type. If either you remove the throws clause, that's okay. Everything is gone. Or if you are writing again the throws clause during the overriding, so whatever exceptions are listed here must be the child type of that, or the same type or the child type. It cannot be a new exception over there. So SQL exception is not a child of IO exception. So this is going to give you a compilation error that this method is not overriding the parent test method. Right? Similarly, I can write here file not found exception, comma, can I write here similarly SQL exception. So this is again not allowed. Although here it is IO exception and during the overriding I am reducing the parent type to child type. File not found exception is okay. But I am adding one more exception which is SQL exception, and this SQL exception is not related with IO exception. So this part will give you the compilation error. This should not be written here. Right? So that method is not overridden by this version. If you remove this, then it is okay. This is okay. This will compile. Right? So three things I told you. First thing is during the overriding you can enhance the accessibility. I am talking about the changes. Second thing what you can change is during the overriding if the parent type method is returning some class object, so during the overriding you can change it to some child type of object. Third thing, if your parent type method is having some throws clause, so during the overriding either you can remove the throws clause or you can list the throws clause with the child type of exceptions. But no new exception should be added during the overriding. So that's all about the method overriding. Thank you.
So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you find this video useful, so please like, subscribe and share with all of your friends so that they can also get benefited. Ravikant Sahu signing off. Thank you.